block east of this scene, and he's driving eastbound. I'm going right over the top of him, so I'm going to lose him now, but it's the first law enforcement activity I've seen out here.
They obviously have thought about this. They anticipated this, they meaning the LAPD. They obviously have plans to deal with it. And as we said before, they've allocated $1 million to overtime in case things like this happen. So they are obviously carrying out a pre-thought-out plan.
In the meantime, don't go near this area, South Central Los Angeles at Florence and Normandy, because there is still no police presence there, and a lot of people trying to get through that intersection have been assaulted with rocks and bottles and sticks. So as long as it's an ongoing situation, you best advised to stay clear.
Can we, Ann, and help me out here, briefly recap what we've seen? We've seen a liquor store and a gas station continue to be looted. We've
Dave,
seen,
can you go back to the intersection?
We've seen rocks and I presume bottles and various things thrown at cars, school buses, RTD buses.
Did you see it, Dave?
Two people dragged from cars in this intersection.
Okay, Dave,
one
right
woman dragged
now.
from her car and ended up on the street, and then we saw the driver of that truck pulled out of his car and beat up. Now there's another car stopped.
All that car just moved into that intersection, and as it did, well, you can see what's happening to it right now.
Are there people inside that car?
The black car, the
Yes.
second lane? Yes. And it's...
Oh, my goodness. Well, it looks like he's,
Looks like you're getting out of there,
or
all right.
she is going to get out of there if they can.
But still, there are things being thrown at the car, as you can see. We can't hear. I guess you can't hear either if guns are being fired or not. Ron?
No, and we wouldn't hear those things. If we were fortunate enough or unfortunate enough, we might see muzzle flashes, but we wouldn't hear anything.
Somebody just tossed a bottle rocket.
The people that are being allowed to drive through this intersection are really in great danger. And I echo what Ann said. I wonder why that the streets around there have not been blocked off as yet. You would think that they would not expose seemingly innocent people driving through this intersection in their cars to this kind of violence.
Well, hopefully the word is getting out on all the radio stations in town, too. If you drive and listen to your car radio, you'll get the word to stay away from this area. The rest of the neighborhood is perfectly serene and calm. As near as we can see, the blocks that surround this intersection are quiet. It would seem to just be...
With the verdict, Sergeant Stacy Coon said only read about it.
That's a structure fire, is it not, Ron?
I'm sorry, you're blocked by another radio. Say it again, Paul.
That looks like a structure fire to me.
It sure does. It looks like a storefront, actually, Paul. We're going to move in here nice and slow. We've got a couple other helicopters with us, and we'll take a look at it. You can see that this thing is just really involved. Now, we've got units from the fire department that are just arriving in front of it. If Dave will pull back just a little bit, you'll be able to see the fire truck, the ladder truck coming. I see another engine behind it, and I see some paramedic truck, it looks like. Now, also, right behind those, I see about 7 LAPD police cars. If we pan just a little bit to the left, Dave, I'm sorry, you'll see a whole line of police cars that have their red lights on, and it looks like they're setting up, or at least blocking the street at that point. And what they could be doing is just making sure that the firemen can...
Be a firefighter or a police officer, their lives in extreme danger tonight, and our hats off to them, and we respect them and we appreciate everything they're doing.
And we're working on a map to show you the spots around Los Angeles where you want to keep your family away tonight. If you're going to head out to church, you should know that the First AME Church is packed to the gills, but they're coalescing there to discuss the issues of the day and to share their thoughts and their feelings and their anger, mainly. Earlier today, well, now we're going to stay on the shot for Chopper 2.
I see a sign on the side of that building that says TVs and VCRs. So, and we're told that something else major developing right now. Back to Parker Center. Jody Baskerville, is it still peaceful there? Jody Baskerville, can you hear me? Well, we've lost that shot. We're told something is happening at Parker Center. There have been several hundred demonstrators outside there. Earlier, they were pelting riot police with rocks and bottles. Then cooler heads prevailed, and they backed away. We're told right now by our producer that something is happening there. We're not sure exactly what. Apparently, we're not ready for that live shot. We'll go to it just momentarily. In the meantime,
pull away. The car pulled up to us, started screaming at us and throwing full bottles of beer at our truck. And needless to say, we turned the corner and got out of there quickly. And
Robert, what were they screaming?
Long live Rodney King, justice for Rodney King, and other things that, you know, we probably can't say. And obviously the anger, the hostility, the bitterness, those feelings are there, and it seems that the anger is building.
Could you tell if they were reacting to you as a member of the news media or if they were reacting to you as a white man?
It's hard to tell. Maybe we look like police officers in a truck. I don't know. It's just as soon as they looked at us, I mean, you saw. I tried to smile and wave, and I saw the anger and the fury in their eyes and their faces, and the beer bottles came flying, and the screams, you know, came with them.
After the verdict, we began receiving phone calls from the Korean merchants who were stuck in South Central Los Angeles. They said they called 911, but the police was not coming.
When I got home that evening, my wife was pacing in front of the TV, and she had the Korean radio on full blast as well. On the TV, you could actually see burning Los Angeles and the looting, but on the Korean radio, you could actually hear merchants who were still stuck there and frantically calling the radio station, saying that the police department and the fire department were not responding to their calls. So I immediately got on the phone and started calling the network television stations to apprise them of the situation. Of course, they were not interested, and nothing came of it.
There were so many calls coming in. We had to go on emergency broadcast. We connected the callers directly to the radio. The radio was being broadcast live by the callers.
제가 아는 흑인 친구가 얘기하듯이 얘기를 들었습니다. 제가 두 방화범들이 서로 누가 백군데 불을 먼저 많이 지르나 그거를 내기를 했답니다. 그래갖고 이 친구들이 그거를 시합을 해갖고 이게 보통 이게 방화범 아니면 그렇게 불을 지를 수가 없습니다.
We stayed up that night until 2 in the morning, until the looting died down. We concluded that that was part of the cost of doing business in South Central, which obviously was a rough neighborhood.
They were coming right up to Koreatown, as you well know.
Next day on the way to work, I was still listening to the radio, and a caller called in and said that his African-American friends were telling him that the African-American gangs that were burning and looting the night before were sending out leaflets saying that Koreatown was next. When I got into the office that morning, I looked out the window and I could actually see columns of smoke coming up Vermont Avenue. Pickup trucks full of African-American youth, obviously gang members, with guns, and were shooting, and they were driving through Wilshire Boulevard. You couldn't see any police cars.
Next morning, we were receiving calls that Koreatown was the next target. We then received calls from the LAPD. They told us to announce to the Korean business close early and leave. We began broadcasting everyone to close the businesses and leave town.
Richard Choi on the radio urging Korean American business people to close their businesses and evacuate Koreatown. So I drove to Radio Korea and told Mr. Choi that we must tell the people to stay and defend the town.
Around noon, David Kim, our attorney, came to the station.
I told him that on the way to the radio station, I saw these Latinos standing in front of their houses and apartments waiting for the town to empty out. It was obvious that there were no police cars around and that the LAPD was not going to defend the town. And I told them that if we evacuated, then we would be leaving the town to the looters who would burn just like they did South Central the day before. Of course, when I was telling him this, I knew that in Korea, the Korean immigrants had served, I think, something like 3 years in the military because it was mandatory. And they all knew how to use the weapons. They were trained.
I asked him if that was legal. He told me,
under the U.S. Constitution, you have the right to bear arms. And that in a situation like this, of course we can defend our property.
We changed our broadcast from leaving our town to defending our town.
This was based on the assumption that the National Guard would arrive and would eventually give us support. Even though we heard that the National Guard did come, we couldn't see them in Koreatown, and we were left to defend ourselves.
Two Korean businessmen doing for themselves what neither police nor National Guard are on hand to do.
There was a man out here who says we're all trained to shoot. Why? What's the feeling?
Well, see, we have no hatred towards black people. We have nothing against anybody. All we wanted to do is work hard and make it like the rest of us, and we know. But people are driving by, shooting at us, and we have to do something about it. We have no police support whatsoever. National Guard, I've heard about it from early this morning. We don't see any of that support coming out. We have a lot of shotguns in here and some handguns, but we have to use them because we have to defend our lives. We have to defend our property. You know, people out there watching, please just don't sit there and enjoy this great exhibition.
It's not entertainment, It's not a Hollywood action shot.
No,
this is the actual life that we're talking. We got shot in what? Car windows, fly-by bullets come out. They're shooting at us. We may be shooting at up there, but they're shooting at us. So far, we've been shooting up. But when it comes to worse, we're not gonna sit around shooting upside. We're gonna shoot at them. That's how close we got to right now.
Those of us who were on the commission were called to a meeting at the Transamerica building, which was Transamerica building then. We were on the roof of the building, and the police were trying to tell us that things were under control. And they told us that the real critical point at that moment were those streets approaching Koreatown. I mean, it wasn't very reassuring. I think it's the first thing to say, seeing the fires going up, even as they were telling us that things were under control. And we all looked towards Koreatown, and there was nothing there. And so the police were not there. And then they offered to give some of us a drive through the area so we could see what some of the issues were. And I chose to go to Koreatown in my drive-through. And the police were probably going 60 miles an hour down the street. I mean, they weren't stopping for lights or anything. They were just speeding through because they were afraid. And what we saw were Koreans in front of their businesses, protecting their businesses. That's what we saw. And you were right. That area was targeted, and people were on their way. And if the Koreans had not themselves defended the area, it would have burned.
That night, Koreatown turned into a war zone. There were gun battles waging between the African-American gangs who came in groups with weapons, and Korean-American merchants defended the businesses. Radio Korea became the command post for these people, and people would call in to say where they're being attacked, and other volunteers in other areas would actually converge there to try to help them. One ironic thing was that the policemen who were saying that they were too busy to stop the looting were actually arresting the Korean volunteers for possession of arms without permits. We couldn't tell if they were trying to protect the gangs or they're trying to protect the Korean merchants. The LAPD were telling the volunteers that they could not defend businesses or stores or areas where the actual owners were not present. But they're the ones who told these people to lock up and leave. And when the volunteers were trying to put out a fire on 6th and Western, for example, they arrested them, they confiscated their weapons, and told them to leave. It was a small fire that could have been put out by these volunteers. That building burned to the ground.
Because of the downpouring of the ashes, and it was difficult to breathe and walk around in the town, we were heading towards the suburbs. And as we were driving out, to my surprise, the National Guard trucks were visible on the road, on the highways, and instead of heading towards Koreatown, they were heading into the suburbs. And to me, that was just unimaginable that these troops were present, and but obviously told not to protect the area of the most danger, but to protect the suburb.
When I think of the LA riots, I also think about all of the hardworking Korean-American shop owners, many of whom did not have insurance, were burned out and were never made whole. We've had other disasters like 9/11 where families were compensated, yet the Korean-American community suffered this huge, huge assault. Where are their reparations? Many families have never been made whole. Many families were driven out of business. Many divorces took place as a result of the riots, but nobody ever made them whole. If this had happened to the black community, if a group had targeted black stores and burned them out, do you think the city would have done nothing about making those entrepreneurs whole? It's a double standard.
Okay, we're still here in a defensive position. Okay, there's Cameron.
Can I see Cameron?
In a sec. So this neighborhood looks pretty calm. As you can see over there, there's fires over there. And down the street there's been looting. Let's see now if we can, of course everything's locked up here. Got a pistol in the car. We're all ready. We're going to try to go up on the roof now and get some good footage. This is so close, it's phenomenal. It is right. As you can see, quite some heavy fire up here. This is right down the street. It's on the roof of our house. And they're just... Okay, as you can see, major fire. Very close to the house. Very major. So pan out. You can see across the city, there are more fires everywhere. This is a major, major deal. Right down the street there we had a looting. Over there, just a few blocks away at the Toys R Us store, had a looting. I tell you, this is absolutely the most amazing thing I've ever seen in LA. Yeah, helicopter up there. Helicopters everywhere. Hundreds of helicopters. Problem is the helicopter's so close to crashing. You have to be very careful. That blaze is out of control. There's another one over there too. Out of control. Look at that puppy. Isn't that gorgeous? It's very close to us. Pico and La Cienega. New fire over there. Still trying to get it. This fire here is pretty close by. I don't know where the heck it is. But it's, as you can see, it's just a few blocks away. I mean, just to give you a feeling of the distance. This is right down the street. People are throwing Molotov cocktails in these places. Start fires. Of course, that area out there, that's all West LA, towards the ocean. Not a lot of activity there. You hear the sounds of the sirens in the background. Been a bunch of fatalities. It's been pretty intense here, you know. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that damn thing. Very hard to see it on this viewer. There she goes. Again, in most cases these fires continue unabated. There's no manpower to stop them. Oh boy, apocalypse now, here it comes. I love this spell name. Okay, we're gonna check out the scene. Been some reported activity over here. You see the street's totally empty. Curfew totally in effect. The street normally crowded. This feels like a fucking war town. It's amazing. This is empty shit. Okay, coming up in the area where kind of there was some unrest. Okay, the video store, as you can see, broken into. People busting there, grab VCRs and shit. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Right next door to us. Okay, this is right next door to us. Other stores are gated off.
Go there, go this. Well, there's nowhere you're shot on La Cienega and Pickled.
I also got the toy. It's right here.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that fire over there, my God.
Well, we better start going in.
Stores are still open. It's absolutely amazing. We wouldn't expect anybody to be open right now. This place is empty. It's a goddamn ghost town. It's the center of West LA practically. It's Robertson. Empty. There's been activity over in, oh my God, look at that, those flames. Already I've seen people just jam through red lights, man. They just want to get home. They want to get the hell out of here. This biker here is breaking all the laws, and it's pretty impressive to watch. Earlier at our house, we're gonna go to that fire over there. Some activity over here. Okay, we got somebody who's been injured over here. Man, I'm going to the heart of darkness here. This is fucking intense. It's a fucking war zone. It's amazing. I can't fucking believe this. There's a guy out here washing his store. Jesus, it's a fucking war zone out here. I can't believe this. There's a store burning out of control down there. Jesus, right down the fucking street. Oh my God, this is rolling out my windows, man. This is fucking intense. This is right 3 blocks away from my house. Right here, man. I'm in the middle of the fucking black-white war zone. What is this shit? It's fucking insanity. What are we doing? Wow, man, there it is, right there, Pico La Cienega. It's hard to look through this thing because I keep thinking of crashing. Okay, 2020 video is hit. Okay, we have a fire raging out of control. Again, no fire trucks. There are no fire trucks available. Very nasty walking throughout this area. Jesus Christ. Fucking major elevated fucking blood pressure. The scary thing is that they have a habit, these guys, of pulling people out of their cars, beating the crap out of them. One case, they blew the fucking guy's head off with a shotgun. Okay, street closed. Okay, we got some major street closures around here. Oh my God. Of course, all the schools are closed today. Okay. Road closed. Okay. Man, this is fucking Kuwait City, man. Unbelievable. Okay, major accident right there. Car has been broken into, as you can see. I don't know if you can see that, but there was shit all over the road. Okay. I'm keeping the camcorder down because a lot of people looking at me like they want it or something, you know. Now, you know, as you know, there's cops here, but that doesn't mean anything. These guys are stressed out, whacked out, freaked out. They don't want to fucking even talk about it. They're in the middle, as far as they're concerned, of a major fucking war zone, and they are badass. So, you know, you can't always rely on help from these guys. Oh my God. Right next door to me. Over there, the fire continues unabated. Okay. Okay. This is major. Gonna turn in here, get some more footage. Fucking 9mm pistol sitting in my car. Major fire down there. There's the countywide curfew on right now, so we really aren't supposed to be out here. And again, there's just nobody out here. The real problem is we got drive-by shootings, which occur. Somebody gets a little pissed off and they start shooting. Okay. La Cienega Square. Get close to the action here. Look at this shit. Helicopters up there. scary thing is the cops are so stressed out that they're leaving. The problem is that the firemen get shot at. So it's a real danger for them out here. They just want to get the hell out of here as fast as they can. Move on to the next fire. We only have a few minutes of daylight left. I'm going to book on down there. Fucking amazing what we live in. People are booking out of here as fast as they can because it's not safe. It is just not a place to be right now. A lot of incidences of journalists have been shot and shit like that. Some people in major fucking trouble. Okay. Oh shit. Great, this autofocus is off. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Okay, as you can see, major fires down there. Burning out of fucking control. My real worry is not anything else but the fact that somebody might want to feel like dragging me out of the car, or B, do a drive-by shooting, because I'm just a nice white kid driving in a very nice, good suburban car. I don't like the feeling of that, but that's unfortunately the way it is. I think some people are fucking crazy to be out here. I mean, the other thing you gotta worry about is somebody drops a Molotov cocktail in your car, which is a pain. I've got all the windows rolled up, I'm secured. We go into the fucking devastation. Wow, look at that shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Apocalypse Now. Unfucking believable. Raging out of fucking control. Problem is, there is just no respect for authority here. Somebody sees a fire, they say, it's time to have some real fun. Like back at the ranch fun, you know? Here we are at the scene. This is a major fucking fire. God damn this goddamn video camera. Focusing is really freaking out. Okay, we have some explosions that are occurring. That's the old theater. Okay, there's some explosions and a big flash of white light. Damn, I wish I had got it on videotape. Very impressive. Hear an explosion like that. And a goddamn cannon going off. I'm just gonna keep this thing on. I don't want to miss anything. We're a major fucking civilian disaster area. Boy, Deutschland über alles. You feel the heat emanating from this fire. It's absolutely phenomenal. Okay, there's that fire there. Nice little store. And whoa, look over there. There's shit exploding over here. Look at these fucking flames going out of goddamn control. Crowd control is at a major minimum. People really look at that. Man, to feel the heat of that flame. It's amazing. Okay, people are trying to put the fire out here themselves. This is really, really cool. Filling things of water up, and they're trying to put the fire out themselves. This is an absolutely fabulous show of the community getting together, helping each other out. This is really, really cool. People are doing their best to contain the fire. There's a residential district right over there. It's a man fighting to keep his house in order. And it's really neat, you know. The kids doing as much as they can to help, taking water out of a fire hose. It's really exciting shit. Okay, this thing's gonna explode soon. There are explosions everywhere around here. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but there's explosions everywhere. You hear these thuds. Okay, here come more fire trucks. Store over there which has been looted, obviously. Can't believe it. Except for the kids, huh? We'll go to the camcorder. We have everybody out here with camcorders. It's fabulous. Wow, look at that go. There it goes. It's going to just collapse in. Jesus, there it goes. It's just chilling to see these kids run up out this fire. Absolutely chilling.
I'm telling you, for your own good. For your own good. For your own good, I'm telling you, this is us.
Huh? Trying to save the house, the residents. Whoa. Okay. Look at this. He's collapsed this guy. Maybe something constructive can come out of this. Look at the solidarity here. This is real solidarity, man. This fucking community is pulled together because this bullshit. Who knows? Hate to sound corny and philosophical. Maybe some lifelong friends with neighborhoods. Black and white comes together through tragedy. What a perfect book. Oh God, I guess Conrad's already done it. Okay. Well, this is where it gets pretty exciting. The sprinkler mains are going everywhere here. Jesus.
Hey Scott, you're desperately needed over here.
You guys need help?
Yeah. We need to get these windows. Hey, you guys, we need to get these windows up here.
To the most dangerous area here. Right next to the fire. Look at that. Jesus.
What? This can fucking blow. It's a gas station. No, but I mean, I'm telling you, the firemen just said, get the fuck away. They did, I'm serious.
danger of exploding, and they're trying to wet down this building here.
Hey, you guys, get the building!
Okay. Luckily, the wind is blowing away from them, so that there's not a lot of chance of the stuff coming down and hitting the other side of the street. Okay, an example of some of the pillage that's occurred here. Okay, we had an explosion over there. Fuck it, somebody got an explosion like you can keep track of. Okay, there's a Vaughn store, and look, right in front of me there's a guy trying to go in there and loot. Unbelievable. Okay, so it's like major loot city here. I wouldn't go near there. A little dangerous having the kind of equipment I have. You know, it's sort of afternoon, but it sure looks like evening around here. So much smoke. In the middle of a fucking war zone. Is that enough? Okay, here come the big guns. The real problem is this Kinberg auto fucking repair. It's got me. Look at that gorgeous bunny is gonna go up in flames. What a testament to cigarette smoking. I love it. This thing, problem is they got major pumps in here, and this thing blows. They got gallons of oil in there. This thing blows. It's gonna be very impressive. I guess you should probably get away from it. Oh, talk about being in the heat of the action. Jesus Christ. Okay, there's some action right there. Okay, got a guy with a garden hose. Trying to save his place. The mechanic's trying to save his place.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm for 20 minutes here.
All right, man.
Go ahead.
What's up, man? Is this your place?
Yes. I try to defend my property.
I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Okay, the Good Samaritan there tried to help, but has been asked to leave. This guy's trying to defend his property. Okay, this thing is blowing over me. I'm getting out of here. This guy's way too close. Nobody's noticing him because he's under a tree. But he's right next to the fire. This is unfucking believable. Okay, this... Oh shit! Something heavy is happening. The fire is left of the residential district. Okay, we got a major fucking problem here. Okay, the fire's left. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, get out of there! Scott! Scott! Get out of there!
Okay. Alright, what's happened is it's fire.
It's electrical.
Wires dropped to electrical.
All about to go.
These fucking wires are off. We got a serious emergency. These wires. Oh, 30 fucking billion volts dropping. Poor asshole like me. Sitting here trying to be fucking Time Life journalist. Jesus Christ. Okay. You guys are putting up the bridge. Let's get away from the electrical wires.
You guys, get away! Get away! Hey, you got it, take it, grab it! Hey, whoever lives in this house, is still on the roof?
Nah, he's off. I don't know, I don't think so. He's off. Can we get a big hose? Can we get a hose? No, a big hose.
He's asked me to help me get the lines out. Okay. Get the fuck out of here. Such an example of community coming together to help the police. Those guys will take your help down there. I'll take it.
Oh, thank God the park.
Okay. The guy standing right there with a white t-shirt, he needs help. We're out, I'm getting out. Where the fuck should I go?
Get out of here.
Trying to get the fuck out of here. Excuse me. Okay. There, of course, is just an example of some of the devastation that occurred here. First of all, the place was pillaged, looted all to hell, and then there. Samples and pillage looting right there. Greg has a beer, 6 packs of beer. Happily wanders off. It is not a safe place to be in there. It's extremely dangerous and the fumes are very noxious. Okay, we got the boys on the right here coming in, ready to just take care of any civilians that might cause any problems. God knows they've been so efficient. So there she goes. Once proud symbol of American corporate cigarette advertisers. Boy, that's a fucking profound statement. Oh, Jesus, it's amazing. Okay, what was previously an area that you can access is now non-accessible. And I'm going to try to get the hell out of here and get back to my car. Because it's looking a bit too exciting for me. Thank you. There we go, the giant jets of water. Worries me is it's dark. It's getting very dark around here. I can't. Oh God, do we have a signal? I lost my signal. Okay, there it goes. It's extremely dark around here. I mean, it's getting really kind of weird. And I am fucking stuck here. I can't get through. I'm stuck on the wrong side of the street. I have my car on the other side. I do not want to have to walk around this area. Do you have oil drums inside there?
Excuse me?
Do you have oil drums inside there?
I don't think, you know, it's not fair, you know, to interfere with the private businesses to this kind of stuff, you know, to a decision, take it by the court, you know, it's ridiculous.
How did it happen? It is ridiculous.
My shop getting fired.
Did it come
from the other side?
Did it come from the other side or somebody throw?
They take 3 shops away.
Right. They won't let you go in and get any more stuff.
Hey, listen, I'm not racist. I don't have anything against black people, but it's going to be a hard time after that.
Yeah.
I promise.
You haven't? Yeah.
Believe me, I'm a white man.
What the fuck that means?
It's serious.
I have to move from my house. That's the problem.
Yeah, I hear you. Come on, man, get the fuck away. Jesus Christ, get away, man.
He's GCs, I can see why he's angry. Go ahead and ask him. Yeah. George, were you born in this country here? Have you been here your whole
Where do you come from?
I come from back east. I'm just gonna, this is a high-8 small camp.
Okay, just want to give you details.
Oh, hi.
Has he been here his entire life?
No, he's been here about 6 years.
And he's from?
Romania.
Romania.
Oh, John, don't take things to me. I don't have any makeup on. I just took a
no,
shower.
That's okay. I'm just
Hey, listen. Put in your tape. Put in your tape something. I got a message. It's on?
Yeah.
It's on.
I got the message for the whole people in this country, for American people. We don't have anything against black people. But in this kind of situation, I feel so sorry. Somebody's going to pay for it. Because I'm not the one who makes decision in that kind of fucking court. Excuse me, the language.
Did you call the fire department? I called them.
How long did it take for
I'm not the man, you know. I'm not Daryl Gates. I'm not the, you know, the jury. I'm not nobody. They fire, you know. They already fucked up my shop.
Do you think
already?
Do you think
what I think?
Any retaliation?
You know where is the justice? Like in Italy, my father is half Italian, half Romanian. The mob. That's the justice. Kill the motherfucker. That's it.
That's the same damn thing, man. You know? You're just gonna create more problems.
Look at this. A fucking foreigner working for his business and everything gets fucked up. How do you call that?
Yeah, but that's...
I was in, during Iliescu, I was in Bucharest.
Okay.
And there was nothing like this. It's worse here than it was in Bucharest.
Okay, then talk to my wife about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
You know, it's worse. I don't have anything against the black people. What I have against is this thing, you know, the white man supposed to pay for. What for? I'm not the jury. I'm not the judge. I'm a white man.
You gotta remember, it's not just blacks, it's Mexicans.
That's right, man. It's all fucking kind of people doing it.
Go to Daryl Gates, go to the government, go to the fucking people and fuck them. Don't fuck my business, man.
Sorry, man.
This is, he's worked for this business forever. And he works 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
I live in the neighborhood before this place was even here.
Going up.
So, it's not just blacks, it's everybody.
It's everybody.
It's hard to say.
Are you insured?
No.
Not insured, huh? Jesus Christ.
Hopefully they can save the foundation.
Unfucking believable.
Hasn't burned yet, so hopefully they can save what's left.
The man is not insured. Which is your business?
Can be. It hasn't started yet, thank God. These guys are right here.
It looks like your business is going to be okay, though, from what we can see. You know?
They're keeping their
fans.
Your landlord's going to pay for the repairs in that.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, yeah, you're fine, man. You're fine. Really. Plus, you can...
Hey, listen, why do I have to suffer this kind of shit? Because some court in downtown takes some decision.
Not even downtown, in the valley.
It's against the black man, and why?
I know, but we're all suffering.
Hey, listen.
We're all suffering.
Wait a minute.
He's black, he's suffering, you know?
Why don't put in your
fucking, there's 2% of the guys are fucking assholes, right?
Why? Do I have to go in
Because you got a couple of fucking lunatics.
To blow his house because he's a black man? Right?
You don't want to do that? No.
They didn't do your building, they got the other building. They
doesn't matter, I'm a white man.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if they would have came in your building, it wouldn't matter.
They got another one and it's spreading because there's no fire. There's no fire trucks available.
Give a message to your people. If they are men, fight to their fist if you are a man. Don't come with the bullshit like that. If you are a man, come fight me.
What are these?
Don't show that to anybody. Beverly Hills, too.
I've been here 27 years. Before this place was here, before that place was here, before that place was here.
Hey, listen. You white man, come here.
Yeah.
You know something?
Yeah.
Who robbed all stores in this kind of Pickled Boulevard was the black people, not white people. All right? And don't blame anything. They take advantage. They saying, oh, I'm black. They prosecute me. Bullshit. Bullshit.
All right.
Kick the motherfucker. Kill them. Next time we're
I'm not going to kill anybody, because that's the wrong thing to do. You're not going to kill him either. You're not going to kill him either.
You don't know that.
No. The wrong thing.
Who?
Some guy's taking a car.
Do you think for...
Like you're taking a car? Okay, we got a car theft going on here.
What are you gonna do?
Is this your business? Did you lose one of these businesses?
Yeah, I have car business. Get him in there.
No, I don't think it was being any bad. No.
Cannot be a black man over there on the street. Can be a white man.
Thank you.
It's gonna be the same.
He's fine. He's fine.
He's helping out. I saw him on the news. He's helping out.
He's fine. He's fine. Thank you. I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. another fire over there. Oh, we got plenty of action around here, boy. Fucking merchants of chaos. I'm gonna try to make a run to this alley. Okay. There we go. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna scope the situation out here. Still trying to find a way out of here. My batteries are low. Okay. Oh, this is great. You guys are all getting together. Push the hose themselves. And I run through the fucking fire area. Jesus Christ. Okay. There's a feeling of safety here since the police are in here in full ride care. Just waiting to have some fun. As you can see on that screen, this National Guard, this is a TV thing here. Okay, this gets more interesting because we got a lot of homes here. We've got a lot of fucking homes here. And they're trying to stop the fire before it gets to the home. I'm going home. Sorry, I'm trying to get you on tape. Okay.
Which news is this?
It's no news. It's mine.
And I got frightened. I said, come and pick them up and take them away, right?
Yeah.
And I came here and they're not here, the place I went to, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, come on. I don't know where I can take you, man. I have no place I can give you for shelter, but...
Looking for everywhere, brother. I could have gone.
So you're trying to find your wife?
I'm trying to find my wife, but now I'm helpless because they say the curfews have to go somewhere. So you'll be a god to me if you can take me to a place.
Let's go. Go ahead and get in my car. I'm going to take this guy for a ride.
First thing I thought I'll go to the bar and have a beer just to relax and think what should I do now. Brother, you're a god. You made me sit down in your car, man. You know, brother, I'm a godly person, but I just want my wife and baby.
Okay, man. It's okay.
For them, I came in this such a bad ride and they should not do this to me, man. I can't live without my wife and baby, man. I tell you honestly, I can't live without my wife and baby.
Where's your baby? So she's with your wife, huh?
She's my wife, man. My baby escapes with my arms. She eats with me, but I'm ready this time. Please, let's go ahead.
For a while, but Jesus Christ, he scared the fuck out of me. I almost had to pull my gun out. I don't have to get him the fuck out of my car. I couldn't believe it. The guy just refused to get out of the car. He said he wanted to ride to a fucking hotel because he's lost his wife in Fiji Islands or something. And Jesus, I don't know. I'm getting out of here. Maybe I've done a major crime to this poor guy. The story was too strange. He wanted a hotel so he could find a bar, sit down and drink, have beers with me. Jesus Christ. Problem is, no matter where they're from, unfortunately, you can't really trust them at this time of year. Jesus. I have never been so freaked out in my life. Woo, this is fun. Okay, now the looting will begin because, God, I hope it doesn't. But, I'll find out what's going on up here. Okay, that problem was handled. These people had an accident over there. I'm getting the fuck out of here. There's a curfew. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I am out of here. Good night. Bye-bye. Try to catch some scenes on the way home. There's shit all over the floor. There's a mattress out there. Nobody you can trust, unfortunately. I guess there's some people you can trust. I don't expect people to trust me. My God, I tried to get a guy to give me a ride, and he looked at me if I was bananas. I think I was trying to ask that of somebody. Okay, I'm trying to get in my street here. These guys are still looting. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm just getting the fuck out of here. This guys just looted that store. My alarm's gone off. Okay. They're out of my sights. It's pretty amazing to see somebody in bright fucking public just run in and rip something off. I'm gonna go up here and see. Okay. So there's looting going on right next door to us. And there's somebody going back there to loot. I just saw it. Okay, great. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You see, there's no sort of altruistic righteous justice here at some point. You just say, fuck it, I want to live. Unless somebody's being hurt. I haven't seen anybody get hurt so far. Okay, here's a local store. Well, they didn't actually get away with much, did they?
They took quite a bit.
They did?
All the shelves are empty, VCRs. It's all VCRs and those tables there. There was some TVs on there.
God, when did they come by?
That has been fairly early.
Okay, so this is the morning after. The streets are pretty empty around here. Well, actually, they're getting pretty nice and crowded. There's cops everywhere. As I drive down, I see looting. It's occurred. Headed towards this Miller's Outpost, which has been vandalized. There's crap all over the ground. Police came by and just left. Apparently, they are unsuccessful in getting too far with this store. The store's right up the street from my house. They actually got in.
Actually started the trash can routine, putting them out, slowing them down, because they were just whipping. As soon as the cop left, they would whip it back around, or they would look down the alley and then pull in. So I started down there, and it followed suit. Everybody else down that way with garbage cans.
Jesus Christ.
And it helped slow them down.
Really? That's pretty exciting.
Everybody else is.
Great. Wonderful. So they actually got some clothes out of here, huh? Yeah. Not a lot, though, it seems.
It looked like they were selected. It looked like they went out there and tried them on or something. I don't know if that's...
It's great. That guy's just a neighbor. He's guarding the place. I've seen 8 or 9 arrests so far, and he's just waiting there. Because every time the cops go away,
At least last night, people would just come right back in and start looting again. Apparently people are very tired right now. They've all had a wasteful night. They're feeling pretty wiped out. They're probably sleeping in. I hope it doesn't start again today, because that would be a real drag. There's a lot of cops. I don't know what's going on here. As you drive down, you see, in some cases, you'll just see a window broken and people sort of standing around outside. Here's the site of a fire last night and some vandalism. There it goes. Let's see. Pretty fun stuff. Okay, another store that's been vandalized. It's just all over here. I mean, there's another store that's been vandalized. Just random sort of violence that's occurred. One store had a sign that said black-owned business. They were left unscathed. However, I know that other black-owned businesses were not left that lucky. Okay, there's still smoke from this fire up here. Just trailing bits of smoke. I'm gonna get out and check it out. Sort of burned out hulks of buildings around here. This is Pico, near Fairfax. There's a fire still burning inside there. Apparently what the firemen do is they just sort of leave when they have to, when they can get the thing is abated enough, and then just go on to the next one. They're so undermanned. They had 42 fires last night, 20 of which they weren't even fighting. They couldn't even get to them. We got some big shot in a limo here. It's probably the mayor or one of the councilmen. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh wow, what a great film opportunity. All these guys have set up. They've even got some decent lighting systems set up. Some great sights here, my God. Fire's still raging. Not raging, but it's still burning. This is usually what's called a rekindle in firemen's terms. Fire sort of breaks out, goes down, and then starts to go again. Okay, the police are coming for some reason. Why? Probably reports of looting. Cops everywhere, it's hilarious. I guess I can jaywalk. I don't think anybody's gonna stop me at this point. This is nice, unlike other businesses that have been hurt in the area. These guys are actually cleaning things out. I know, it's all right. They're just cleaning out the place. Hi! Okay, did you have any looting last night? Is that a dumb question? I guess you did, huh? Did they start a fire inside? Okay, thank you. You too. Boy, give that guy a job as a manager. It's just amazing, you know, you see buildings everywhere that have suffered damage here. I mean, there's whacked out windows, like every block. Oh, this is great. Still fire in there. This van was looted. Did they take much? Did they take much?
Yeah, they took everything and there's nothing left.
Jesus. Loot everywhere. Well, it's fun to see a looting. Thank you. Another place that just looted, apparently a bakery or something. That was an Indian deli. Now over here we have some more damage. It's like Dresden after the war.
I have a mild amount of success with this garden hose. It's really pathetic, but I don't want this thing to spread.
No one is doing anything about this stuff. I don't think this tiny little trickle of anything will do anything. More burned out structures. This thing really went for a while. What's funny about being in a civilian disaster area is you walk around to the camera, automatically think that you're automatically some sort of insurance investigator or something. Here come the guys, the inspectors. Taking a look at the power lines. Those a problem, I don't know.
It's funny how people have become very polite. It's kind of nice to see that people being very sort of nice in this disaster area. Now this area's kind of nice. This area's okay, but I understand from reports that this whole shopping center down here has been looted, so we're gonna go check it out. Okay, we're gonna drive by here. This is the one that allegedly has been looted. And yes, it looks like it has been looted, all right. It looks very looted. Police hanging out there, showing good authority. Now I'm just gonna see if I can get in. This is obviously a predominantly black area. It's about 90% black. So I did see some people sort of looking around, trying to get some free stuff. I'm trying to get in here. Of course, the problem is that it's all barricaded. Because what happened last night is that people just kept coming back in swarms. And the cops would leave, they'd come back. Now, with the National Guard, we have enough cops that can actually do the job kind of right, and they don't have that many problems anymore. So we can find here, Loot Central. Of course, Circuit City was a great target. There's a lot of activity going on there. I just ordered to get out. Cop told me it was not a picture-taking site. I think he's wrong. Okay, they're just keeping everybody out of here. Noticed in this whole thing is that we have not seen any sort of abolishment of habeas corpus. There's no emergency rule or law or some vicious draconian edicts coming down. It's just cops treating people fairly well, being fairly good the way they handle people. It's interesting to see. Okay, so we have some action going on up here. This is Saturday, 30 of the riots. Let's see what's going on. Apparently there's some sort of fire or something that occurred over here. It's funny, it's Saturday, there's still a little action going on. As you can see, there's so many stores boarded up, it's phenomenal. A couple of funny things have come out of all this. So I've got a camcorder that people think I'm a newsman. When I drive down the street, people think I'm a cop because I've got a cop car. Sort of, car. This is the Vons at 3rd and Fairfax. You can see Army National Guardsmen are here at the ready, M16s loaded. It's pretty amazing to have men walking around with M16s in your own neighborhood. This morning they were in a much more vigilant position, but of course the day has gone on and they're getting bored. They're sitting down waiting for their pizzas. Okay, there's some more right there. It's crazy to have the Army sitting right in your neighborhood. This guy looks looking pretty defensive. What's going on? No, I'm just getting in the middle of anything here. Yeah, you have to realize the effect this has on a person to see men from the Army here in your own community. This is just a few blocks away from your own home. Has it been pretty quiet today? Yeah, no problems?
Are you guys are those loaded, or they you have clips on the side? It's pretty amazing to see the city. Okay, there's some sort of maneuver going on here. I'm probably just checking something out. Something's going on here and I can't figure it out. Okay, this man just gone to the ground. Oh, you're trying to check something out, I guess. Report of somebody trying to get into the back. He's ready. Ready for anything that occurs. Okay, we're still here in a defensive position. It's apparently some sort of activity is going to occur here, or we're worried about some sort of activity. Don't know what's going on. Here we go. They're all sitting there at the ready. Well, we still have a curfew on, but the city has quieted down quite a bit. Apparently at this point, there's a lot of police officers, Army National Guardsmen that are a little upset this is all over, I think. They wanted it fun to continue in some ways.
You want to approach south on La Brea or east or west on Melrose. Do not approach north on La Brea. Do not approach north on La Brea. That's a blind spot.
That reminds me of back in the 60s, Charles Whitman in the tower at the University of Texas. Look at this guy.
It doesn't look like he's defending a store or anything. It just looks like he's taking pot shots, doesn't it?
He looks like a wacko with a gun to me.
Yeah. And getting off a lot of pot shots, too.
Well, again, we don't know who he was shooting at or if he hit anybody. This was earlier tonight, much earlier, about 7 o'clock.
There are the police staying out of the line of fire, which is
I don't
correct.
believe we're going to see the conclusion to this on tape.
Now the man is out of sight. We would like to be able to tell you how this one ended, but we are not sure.
Well, let's stay with the tape for as long as we can. Maybe we'll get some answers.
This is another.
All right.
It's another piece of tape that we had standing by, which was the tape from Circuit City, where Rick Romero and
Laura
Diaz were in Hollywood, and this is at is it Western and Sunset?
In that area, Circuit City, there's a Crown Books there that,
Right.
That I know well. I've been in that bookstore a couple of times.
And Laura and Rick said that this store was being robbed in
Now,
waves.
Watch
People
what
would
happens
come.
here.
Sunset.
2 television sets. Do they come back and get them? Yep.
Somebody else does.
Somebody else does with a VCR in one hand and picks up the TV with the other. Right now. Now, there's the gun. Laura was very close to that man when he did that and says that she's pretty sure that gun was pulled on she and the cameraman. And the only reason he ran is because there was a security officer nearby who also had a gun. If not, Laura's pretty convinced that they would have been the target of some gunfire from that young man.
That young man didn't apparently want his picture taken while he was stealing television sets, but the majority of people running in and out of this store didn't seem to notice or care.
Nor have they cared throughout all this. As a matter of fact, some of them take great delight in it. Now, if we turned off our cameras and went home, would this stop? Not likely.
Don't think so.
Yeah, he's having a good time.
This was tonight about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and there's no police presence now, but you will see later on in the tape that the police do arrive.
But Laura and Rick said that the police would show up at this building, as has been happening in so many other spots. They'd scare away the people who were looting. Then they'd be called to something else. A little time would go by, and the looters would be back. She said that this store was just...
Well, here's a guy with a
completely taken.
dolly, with a pull dolly.
Yeah. I don't think he gets anything out of there because the police are about to show up here in about 15
No, but
seconds.
either he came prepared with that dolly or he found it somewhere.
He found it and used it.
What's that, fire extinguisher?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll come in good use. Now, why is he running? Because here come the cops. I don't know if we see more than one police car. I don't think we do.
This has been happening tonight in the Hollywood neighborhood. Not so many fires, a few fires, but a lot of looting going on, a lot of broken windows, a lot of stealing.
On Hollywood Boulevard, we heard from Alex Payne 2 or 3 times along Hollywood Boulevard, not far from here. Now, see, they're not in any real great hurry. I mean, it's the police, there's the police, and this is a pattern we've seen over and over the last 24, well, it's more than 24 hours now. They're in no big hurry. Yeah, the cops are here, but we're going to back this thing out and take off. We got the stuff in the trunk, and that's going to be about it.
And for so long a time, there was nobody looting, being arrested too much. They just seemed to figure that they were going to let them take it, and as long as no lives were being threatened or property being
Yeah, let me
really
just talk over
destroyed,
that so you didn't hear it, maybe. Huh? Now, the officers, as they have so many times after the fact, will go up and basically secure the area, and if and when they leave, the looters come back.
And that's the way this one ends, pretty much, with the police there restoring order for the moment. We asked Laura if she wanted to get back out among them, and she said that she didn't think so. She hadn't come that close to being shot before.
Laura was about as shook up as I've seen Laura be. Rick Romero, now here they are, guns drawn, apparently thinking there's somebody else in there. Rick Romero went back outside to cover another location.
But it's a different story. You see people running in and taking things, that's one thing. But when they pull out a gun as they're leaving the building, that's a different picture. Here we are going.
Pan left, dog, pan left. Watch my backside, Brian. This is my business. You know, hey, you. If you didn't make it too damn bad, but don't destroy my stuff. Don't burn down my soul. Come on, Uncle. I worked too hard for this. I don't even understand nothing. Come on. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right what y'all doing. I came from the ghetto, too. Same as all of you did. Y'all need to listen. But you know, y'all messed up my business. And you call it black power. You mad at the white man. Why destroy my business? Why destroy my truck? Why steal my computer? I'm trying to make it. Could you understand that? Can't y'all see it? I'm trying to make it. Just start listening. I gotta do my job. I gotta do my job. Hey, man. Hey, why you doing this in your community, man? These clothes belong to some of your neighbors.
No. You don't care? I don't care. Why? I mean, but what? Like, how can you explain this, man? Is this gonna solve anything?
I'm 39, be 40 in a couple months, and so help me God, I never seen parents teaching children to steal. I mean, breaking the windows down and pushing the kids in the store to steal. If I had done that, my mom would beat the stuffings out of me if she had called me stealing. But these parents teaching their kids to steal, I can't understand it. But they ever take their kids to church? Do they ever teach them to believe in Jesus? I don't believe this stuff. I just can't.
Right or left?
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, turn. You got enough, Bob.
And I've noticed a pattern here. This building is right near a swap meet. And as you know, some of those buildings on Vermont were swap meet buildings. And I don't know if you can see because of the low light, but people are carrying things, running very rapidly out from the swap meet building to other cars nearby. Here, somebody, you can see the people with all the debris down there.
Stan, we were trying to remember, where did the initial violence begin? It was at the intersection of Florence
and Normandy.
And Normandy,
yeah,
yes.
Florence and Normandy.
And now it has spread over an area. What would you estimate in square miles that are involved here?
Oh, hell, it's difficult because the fires are getting farther out. Now look at the two men running. Well, the smoke just came in. We're kind of in the middle of that. But they're going into these buildings, grabbing things, and running out, and they're putting them someplace, and some of them are coming back for second and third trips.
Are being pelted with rocks and stones sometimes. Harvey Levin's ready now.
Yeah, the police come in. Harvey?
Hi, Mike. I am not going to tell you where we are, exactly where we are, for obvious reasons. We are somewhere in south central Los Angeles. There have been a cadre of fire engines and police cars that have been coming in and out of here all night. This is the command central place for all of the dispatches to the areas that we've been showing you all evening long on Action News. The fires that you've been seeing, the looting that you've been seeing. This is the place where these people are dispatched from. Bob, we can pan over a little bit. Look at this right here. This is a suburban type Jeep with a sharpshooter peering outside of the sunroof with an automatic rifle. This appears to be a scene that you might see in Operation Desert Storm, and we've been seeing this all night. There are a number of people like that. They're in riot gear. They're there to rescue people who might be trapped on the street in situations that we have shown you earlier, where innocent people have been attacked by the people on the street. We're also, incidentally, even though this is a secured area, we are just 100 feet away from several fires. Bob, let's try indelicately, I suppose, if we can pan over there. You can see a white plume of smoke where apparently some structure is involved in a blaze, and there are several other plumes just like that in this area. I must say, I'm scared.
This idea what that is at this time. Okay, now there's a fire, and the fire that we're going to head over towards it. It's right on the bridge or underneath. It's in the freeway or on the bridge. And that's right at Spring Street and the Hollywood Freeway as it goes through the slot area. We'll
there
go
it
in
is,
that
right
direction.
there. You can see it between the buildings there, Cliff.
Okay, I can barely hear you, Colleen.
I said we could see it between the buildings. If you swing around that building there, we can get a clearer vantage point. It's coming up right in the center of the screen, now to the right.
There you go. Yeah, that's
just a parking lot there?
No, that looks like
that's the freeway, it looks like, or at least an on-ramp.
I'll tell you in a minute. We have a helicopter.
I don't know, but those cars look like they're dangerously close there.
Oh, yeah. There's something else going on in the freeway just to the east of the location. And this looks like it's the brush. Looks like brush right on the side of the freeway.
Sure has everything backed up on that freeway.
Yeah, sure does, Jess. Everything's just slammed shut. There's a whole large crowd of people, if you can look down just forward of where that fire is, and they're walking all over the freeway, if you can see it down there. Okay, I think Dane's got a picture of it here. There's all kinds of people on the freeway.
No wonder I thought it was a parking lot.
Well, what a dangerous situation that is.
And indeed, some of this may be random, but planned violence nonetheless.
And the kind of thing that feeds on itself. When people see that other people are getting away with it, they may go out and do the same thing. We have that tape available. We talked about the damage at City Hall, the City Hall Annex, and the flare that was thrown inside and the fire that was started.
Apparently there's some bulletin boards or something in there, John, that ignited, and they were just inside the door.
The man with the flare now.
Yeah.
There are children in that group. Those are children.
They're kids.
You know, what's really interesting, too, is that you look at this, and these kids are easily identifiable. I wonder if they know the ramifications of what could happen here. We're not the only people watching this videotape. Now, people are going to know who they are if they choose. So,
I would like to think that a parent or two might also be able to identify somebody there.
Well, breaking and entering and arson on television.
Serious charges.
We are out.
It's a crowd of 300 strong, and you can hear the screams, you can hear the breaking of windows right now. You can also hear the ambulance coming their way, and I've got about 200 officers on this end of the street, and they've also surrounded the other side of the street. Again, we're talking about the corner of Arcadia and Los Angeles. Videotape the beating of Rodney King takes the stand.
The satellite picture shows a few clouds over the northeastern corner of the state, temperature of 47 degrees in Waco.
I remember it being a cold day, drizzly, overcast. I remember driving, thinking, okay, we're really out in the country. This is a rural operation.
Making the short trip to the Branch Davidian compound, because I was going in first, a lot of things just go through your mind.
There was a news crew from a local television station that had learned of the impending search warrant. In their quest to get a breaking story, they got lost.
There was a mailman who saw members of the media and asked what was going on.
The postman turned out to be a Davidian.
He immediately went back and advised David Koresh that the ATF was on their way.
Robert Rodriguez had gone in on that Sunday morning, and he was kind of get a feel for what was going on there.
David Koresh sat Robert Rodriguez down and said, I know you're a plant. I know they're coming.
Koresh came back, he told Robert, he said, they're coming for me. ATF and the National Guard, they got me once, but they'll never get me again.
He shook Robert's hand and said, good luck.
So he went back to the ATF commanders and said, they know we're coming, but they didn't listen to him.
I told him what happened inside the compound. I advised him that Koresh knew. I advised all the people in the undercover house, they know we're coming. As long as I live, I'll remember those words.
I don't think a lot of those agents wanted to go through with it.
I followed orders. I got ready and I went.
One of the biggest mistakes I made was not just stopping there and saying, look, we can't go. We've lost the element of surprise. We got to call this raid off.
They got to a point of no return. David Koresh knows you're coming. This is going to be a bloodbath.
The choppers were coming in across the creek bottom from the northeast, and they were coming directly towards me. They broke over towards Mount Carmel. I could hear something rumbling, and it's coming right at us. I could see inside the back of the trailer, and it didn't have cattle in it. It had ATF agents.
We see a little SUV behind us, and it's the media. Everybody in the back are like, hey, what are they doing here?
The two trucks and the trailers had turned onto the property now.
When we pulled in, somebody came over the radio and said there's nobody outside.
They were walking into an ambush.
We had close to 150 people sitting inside this building, and we were going to try to make entry through the front door and through windows on the roof. It was very spooky.
I was still in my pajamas, and I was sitting on the top bunk. I was looking out the window, and you just see all these black dots coming at you like little ants.
I recall stepping out of the truck. Almost immediately, I start hearing pops. Pop, pop, pop.
They were never able to determine who really shot that first shot.
We just got shot at. We got like 6 rounds.
And it's like everybody starts shooting at once. You couldn't hear anything.
I looked out the window and saw tons of people in black clothes jumping out and running toward us with guns.
David came down the hallway and he said, I don't want anybody to do anything stupid. I'm gonna go talk to them. So don't take any action in your own hands. Let me handle it.
Heard him open the front door, and the next thing I hear him yelling out, hey, wait a minute, you know, there's women and children in here.
I look up and I see Vernon Howell at the door, and I was running straight at him, yelling at him, police, search warrant. He backed up and he shut the door.
And then all these bullets started coming from the outside in.
The minute David got shot, there was people that retaliated.
It seemed like a pop here, a pop there, and then boom, 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 pops everywhere.
All of a sudden, I'm seeing just holes appear in front of me. And at that point, it was like, wake up, stupid, they're shooting at you.
Just as they started firing, my mom ran into the room and she grabbed me, she put me on the floor, and she put her body over me because she was trying to protect me.
All these bullets were coming through the window above my son's head, and all that glass started falling in his face. All I could do was sit there and wonder what's going to happen next.
I saw a couple of ATF agents put the ladder up, and they're going up. And I said, all right, we got to shoot this video.
There was a lot of rounds coming by. You could hear them zipping over your head.
I thought they were going to come in and kill me at any second.
I stepped through the window and went into the room. They started shooting through the walls at us. I took 2 AK rounds, one in my thigh and one in my hip. I remember falling down and trying to get up.
You're looking at mortality in the face and thinking like, damn, I'm not gonna get out of this thing.
One of our agents returned fire and he was shot in the head. It was the day before his 26th birthday.
I remember walking through the hall. You could see bodies on the floor, and my mom had left me under the bed. I don't really remember much after that.
3, 2. The first firefight was probably 30 minutes nonstop, and I'm doing a play-by-play. There are confirmed casualties inside, and there are 2 or 3 officers hit. An ATF agent yells at me. Hey! Ambulance! Run to your truck and call for help. Ambulance, got it!
That's when we began hearing that different ones had been shot. As I got close to the entryway, I could hear water running, and I thought, that's strange. Turned to go in, and somebody's laying on the floor in a pool of blood and water.
They said 16 wounded, 4 dead.
Our coming there that morning was in fulfillment of a prophecy that David Koresh had. This is the way it's gonna end. You know, we're at the hands of the beast, and we were supposed to be the beast.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show how.
Where were you and how'd you make your way out?
Well, as the ramming went on, the ones that were with me in the chapel, when the tank would come in the front and spray, we'd move as far back as we could. The tank had pushed a big hole in the wall, and so we kind of saying, well, you know, if we jump out this hole, will they shoot us? We didn't know. I think it was about noon. Somebody from upstairs yelled, "The building's on fire." All of a sudden, all of this smoke came down this outside of the building. And when it got to the hole, it got sucked in, and everything turned black. You couldn't see anything, and I'm praying, saying, Lord, you better do something if you're gonna get us out of this. I'd have probably been burned to death, except that people behind me further into the building started screaming. So I jumped up and I stumbled over all this debris and jumped out of the hole. And when I got out, I kind of looked back, and the hole was just a mass of flames, and I thought, man, I'm the only one that got out. The skin was rolling off my hands. It wasn't blistering, it was just rolling off. There was a big, like a fireball went up about in the center of the building. Then when I saw the fireball, I said, well, nobody's getting out of there now.
You know, it's not against law to buy a firearm. It's not against law to buy anything that they sell at a gun show. And when this is all resolved, you know, hey, yellow sheet is legal. An accusation is not. And bringing these tanks and stuff around here, I tell you what, being an American first, I'm the kind of guy that I'll stand in front of a tank. You can run over me, but I'll be biting one of the tracks. No one's going to hurt me or my family. That's American policy here. You could have arrested me any day as I jog up and down this road. You could have arrested me going to town or going to Walmart. Waco was going to bear witness against the ATF. The 2 agents across the street over here, Robert Gonzalez, I love the guy. I was honest with him. I brought him into my home. He was going to stay here for 2 weeks. All this stuff you guys may want to avoid and deny. You know, he wanted to tour around the place. I promised him a tour. He could have talked to any of these guys around here, anybody. He was free to come and go as he chose. And I do not appreciate it, and never will I ever appreciate somebody coming here with 2 helicopters and cattle trailers and all that, and pushing people around with guns. Hey, I'll meet you at the doorstep any day, you know, and somebody will get hurt. If you want to keep playing that game, I'm talking to you. Somebody's going to get hurt. Because this ain't America anymore when the ATF has that kind of power to come into anybody's home and kick doors down and things like that. Now, I do understand, someone reminded me of this, I do understand that one of the officers says his gun went off on accident. And that, that was just like a signal and all that, But look, beside the point, ATF, you boys are wrong. Your practices, your habits, yeah. Drug dealers, fine. But even there's always a question, if there's any question whatsoever. The kids or women are involved, damn you, I tell you what, you keep your damn gun in your holster. You send a couple of big, brave, invincible kind of men, you let them knock on the door. If they're so damn involved to where they can risk their lives for the name of the law, then send them up bulletproof, put them in some kind of night armor or whatever, and let them knock on the door and ask the questions first. But no one's going to expect me, when they come busting in on my door with guns drawn and pointed in the air, and someone fires me, that I'm going to lay down and die for anybody. That just ain't going to happen in this country. God speaks to me. I have a message to present. You may not believe that. If you don't believe that, then believe this. Irrespective of God speaking to me. You see this here? See, this is my family. It may not be like your family. It may not be like your family. This one here, he's my family too, right, Joseph?
Yeah.
Tell him, look in that camera and tell him what you think about it. Who's treated you good?
David.
Do you mind that, son? Huh? Do you love Joseph? Your best buddies?
Yeah. Yeah.
You too, Damon? So, you guys, you do it your way, I do it my way. You got to argue with me, you catch me on the side of the road somewhere, you come and argue with me. You come point guns in the direction of my wives and my kids, damn it, I'll meet you at the door any time. And I'm sorry some of you guys got shot. But, hey, God will have to sort that out, won't he? So we're going to send this tape out now. And I'm leaking in the back here. I got to get this taken care of. And I'm hoping to get stronger. And maybe we can send more tapes as issues develop. I do thank you guys. Sheriff Harwell, God bless you. And, thanks for getting us the milk. And what can I say? They call me a rambling man, don't they? Anyway, God bless, and we'll sign off, Steve.
A little after 9 o'clock, the tactical commander, Chuck Serban, rushed into the area and said, "Everybody gather around, I've got news." Robert Rodriguez, who was our undercover agent, had just come out of the compound and had just spoken with David Koresh. And Chuck Serban says, they know that the ATF and the National Guard are coming, but they're shaking and holding Bibles, so we're going to go ahead and go. And we were all a little bit set back because all of a sudden the clock had been turned up on us. So we quickly started getting our gear together. It was organized, but there was a sense of urgency. As we quickly were getting our gear together, some of the medics would come by, and I remember distinctly one of them asking me, "What's your blood type?" And I said, "A positive." And he wrote it on my neck with a marker. And I just looked to the agent on my right. I said, "That's the first time we've ever done that." And obviously it was the last time we ever did it. But that was one of those moments that really stick in my mind from that morning.
Tell me what the plan was, how you guys were going to go in.
Right. Well, the name of the operation from the onset was Operation Trojan Horse. Right. And it derived that name from the fact that we were going to use cattle trailers draped with tarps so that they couldn't be seen in from the top. The two trailers pulled by the trucks were to pull into the drive and approach, and then as soon as we got into the position, we would open the trailers and come out and execute the search warrant. As you're driving along, it was deadly quiet in the cattle trailers. There was none of the normal joking around that law enforcement has when we're going to do one of these things. Part of it's to calm our nerves, part of it's to show that brotherhood, but it was just deathly quiet in the cattle trailers as we pulled up to the compound. And my team leader, Jerry Petrilli, over the radio put out "It's showtime," which indicated to us that the warrant was going to move forward. At that same time, he also put out, "There's no one on the compound grounds," over the radio. And I remember looking to my left saying, that's not good.
When you hear that news that he says the ATF and the National Guard are coming, did anybody ask any questions or say, hey, wait a minute?
And you heard a few rumblings about, well, they know we're coming. Is that true? Did I just hear that correctly? And right as we were getting on the cattle trailers, I distinctly heard one agent say, well, if they know we're coming, then why are we going? Once we'd lost that element of surprise, some people figured then it was time not to execute the warrant. And, you know, obviously the information that the tactical commander had was that they were not preparing for a fight, but were rather praying and shaking, holding their Bibles. So the thought was at that time that we could safely do the warrant in his mind. Obviously it did not turn out that way.
How many guys in each trailer?
So there were close to 80 agents on the ground. Again, I was in the lead trailer and I was approximately 4 people back from the gates that were going to open where we were going to come out, and I was directly behind our team leader. There was no gunfire. I remember looking out of the side of the trailer, the slats, and seeing the compound close up for the first time, and it just seemed so huge. It was as large as like a hotel. It was larger than anything we'd ever executed a search warrant on before. And as the vehicles came to a stop, just as our door became to come open, I heard the first gunshot.
What kind of gun did it sound like?
Because it wasn't the distinct crack of a gunshot, it was a more muffled sound. But immediately after that, it was followed by a cascade of bullets coming.
You guys were there serving a warrant for a search and arrest for illegal weapons. From what you heard, did you get an indication that you were going to find what you were looking for when you heard those first shots?
Yes. The first shot was semi-automatic, but shortly thereafter, automatic weapon fire was intense. We were not armed with any automatic weapons. We had semi-automatic weapons, mostly 9mm, and the rapidity of the fire was definitely automatic weapons fire.
Did you hear anybody from inside the compound?
I heard someone yelling, get down, was the only thing that I made out, and then the gunfire started. We were in a dead run as soon as we hit the ground, running towards the front doors. As I was running and looking at the building, on the second floor I could see muzzle flash in several of the windows as I was running, and the curtains, blinds, glass flying out towards us. And so I was returning fire to wherever I saw muzzle flashes as I ran.
And you got fairly close to the front door before you were driven back, correct?
My momentum carried me through the gate, and then as I looked down, anticipating the front doors to have been opened, they were shut, and rounds were coming through the front door. I can only describe it as looking like snow as the white foam inside the doors and the paint came off it. I could see agents to my right were trying to get away out from the opening area there. So I was giving them covering fire until I was pushed back by machine gun fire that hit in the sidewalk in front of me and hit me in the face with concrete and bullet fragments.
And talk to me about what cover you guys had out there.
Right. Cover was limited and vehicles would not stop the rifle rounds that they were firing, so they were more concealment. As I came out of the gate, I remember telling my team leader, he was standing behind a wooden fence, I yelled at him, I said, that's concealment, not cover, which in our world means that concealment hides you, but it doesn't stop the bullets. So I went behind this red car, and at that time there was an agent there, and I met him for the first time, and Clay Alexander, and Clay was asking me if I'd been shot, and I said, no, I don't believe so. I said, have you been shot? And he said, yeah, I think I've been shot in the legs. So I felt the back of his legs, and I pulled back my hand. I didn't see any blood, so I said, well, if you're shot, you're not bleeding bad.
And then you guys both went back to shooting?
Went back to work, yeah. That was, again, the hail of gunfire was intense in those first 45 minutes of the gunfight. There was a van next to the red car I was behind, and there were 4 agents behind that van. One of those was Steve Willis. So, and Steve Willis, shortly into the gunfight, had been returning fire and ducked back behind the van, and I saw the glass on the side of the van shatter, And as I looked, I saw Steve Willis fall, and the bullet had gone through the side glass of the van, the back glass, and it struck him in the left side of the head, and he was killed immediately. The bullets, there were so many of them, and then shortly after that is when they started firing the .50 caliber Barrett at us.
And several of the agents actually were wounded with one of those rounds. Were you close to where that happened? Did you see that?
There were several agents that were behind a red and white truck, which was right behind me. We're trained in law enforcement to hide behind vehicles, engines, and tires, the rims of the tires, to protect us from gunfire. But a .50 caliber Barrett is a kind of a bullet that you use to shoot down airplanes and things like that. And that engine block did not stop that round. It went through there, fragmented, and wounded both of the agents that were behind that truck.
Do you have a sense of who started this?
The first round came from the inside, followed by a cascade of bullets. And then we returned fire, and in the end, I think the Texas Rangers estimated that the Branch Davidians had fired somewhere around 10,000 rounds at us, and that we had returned fire with around 1,100 rounds.
You know, there are a lot of people that question, you know, did they tell the truth? Could they tell the truth? And I want you to talk about it from an agent's perspective.
All of the agents that were there that day wanted the truth to get out. We wanted everyone to know what actually went on behind the scenes and that day. But immediately after the shooting, because of the criminal case that was following, we were told, say nothing. Mention this to no one, not your family, not the press, no one. So we heard all these myths and rumors that started flying around, and we wanted to dispel them, but we had no avenue. We had to just sit and take it.
Some people will ask, why should we believe you would tell the truth about this when something so awful happened?
Everyone wanted to tell the truth and did at the agent level. Again, we heard some of our managers say things like, well, we didn't know that we'd lost the element of surprise. We all knew that that was not true. We all knew that. And we told the Texas Rangers, we told anyone that would listen within the legal channels. No one had anything to hide. And again, everyone to this day wants to get the truth out and dispel these myths.
What are some of the most frustrating stories that you've heard about the raid and that aren't true?
Obviously, I mean, that we came, we were armed with machine guns, we were shooting from the helicopters as we flew over the compound, all those kind of myths that we have firsthand knowledge of. And you know, some of the Davidian attorneys say, yeah, there were holes in the ceiling and I saw them. And there may have been holes through the ceiling because many of the Davidians were shooting through the ceiling trying to shoot agents on the roof. So, but that myth has just lived on and on about the helicopters. The machine guns, ATF was not armed with machine guns. They were semi-automatic 9mm H&K MP5s. There were several of those on the ground. Mostly they were 9mm pistols, and then there were a few shotguns and maybe 4 AR-15s, again, all semi-automatic.
What about the claims that ATF brought the media on the raid that day, and that this was all an elaborate publicity stunt?
Absolutely not. ATF did not bring the media. In fact, as law enforcement, we tried to dodge the media as much as we could. We spoke in code on the radio and things like that. The fact was that we had an ambulance service that we had on standby because we were concerned that some of the people inside haven't had adequate medical attention, or if there was an incident, we would have medical services nearby. That person within the ambulance service notified the media, and that's how the media knew we were going to be there that day.
So was it the media that tipped off the cult?
Yes, it was. David Jones, the postal carrier, spoke with one of the media members who was lost. And the media member told him the ATF and the National Guard are coming to run a warrant on those Branch Davidians. That David went into the compound and called David Koresh aside and informed him, hey, David, the ATF and the National Guard are coming. That was how David Koresh found out that we were coming.
There's been talk of friendly fire, that maybe the guy that went up the ladder first shot himself in the leg.
And Bill Buford is a tough man, but he didn't shoot himself in the leg and then keep going up that ladder. Bill Buford was shot when he got inside that window. There weren't any friendly fire incidents out there on the grounds, as people say. Our agents that were killed were all killed with high-powered rifles.
There's been talk also, particularly from gun lobbyists and lawyers for the gun lobby, that there was no probable cause for the search warrant. Can you speak to that?
Well, the search warrant affidavit that was signed by the U.S. magistrate was for unregistered machine guns.
Illegal machine guns.
Being unregistered in the NFA, as required by law, they would be illegal. So these were fully automatic weapons. As soon as I stepped off the trailer, I knew that the warrant was good because we were met with heavy automatic weapons fire from all throughout that compound.
It's clear that this has been a painful experience for all of the agents of the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. What has this done, the ripple effects of these myths and of these conspiracy stories about Waco? I mean, how do you think that stays with us today?
Well, you can look at any internet blog, many books, many media publications. You can even look on TV and see the miniseries that's on there. All these myths go out there to make the federal government, law enforcement in general, look like the bad guys. Some people that are weak-minded, like Timothy McVeigh, they take those and they take action on those myths. And he went to Oklahoma City and used a massive bomb and blew up the federal building there in Oklahoma City, and he killed 168 people. The people who don't research it and find the true facts will act on these myths, and some of them are unstable themselves.
Do you think that could happen today?
I absolutely think it can happen today. You look in the news and how you don't have to look far before you see the death and destruction that people can bring on one another. They just need something to set them off. They're looking for things to set them off, excuses to go off. And things like this, that's what they use. They're not based on fact, but people have run with them for so long, they're ingrained in our history now. People think they're the truth. And when we try to dispel them now, so many years later, 25 years later, people have grown up with the lies, so they believe them rather than the actual truth when it's confirmed.
Contest recorded words of David Koresh. It's taken from telephone conversations between David Koresh and the FBI negotiators. It was recorded by the government, and the tapes were recently released by the Justice Department. The tape has two segments. The first is from April 16th, Friday. It's from the wee hours of the morning, and David has just optimistically reported to the FBI negotiator that he's finished the first chapter or segment of his manuscript on the 7 seals of the Book of Revelation. He had pledged on the previous Wednesday and sent out a signed legal agreement that he would exit the Mount Carmel Center upon completion of the manuscript. The tone of the conversation is quite optimistic and upbeat, both from David's side and from the side of the FBI listening to his report.
I'm saying that when I get through writing these and they're given to my attorney, and my attorney hands them over, what's the two theologians' name? Philip Arnold and Jim Tabor, because you've shown that they have a sincere interest in these things, you see, then I can spend all my time in jail, and people can go in and ask me all the stupid questions, because they're not going to ask me about the seals. They're going to say, do you molest young ladies? Have you eaten babies? Do you sacrifice people? Do you make automatic weapons? Do you have bombs? Look, that's what they're going to be interested in. Sensationalism.
So that's why you need to get it done before you leave there, then.
That's why I'm going to complete it, because, you see, you know as well as I do that people in this world, they want something dramatic and sensational. They don't want to have to sit, no one's going to sit there and let me sit there in front of a camera and read Psalms 40 to them to prove the first seal. Dick, it's a real world, and that's why I'm sympathetic with your position. I realize you're frustrated, and I agree with you.
I'm not frustrated. I went home, and I'm no longer frustrated. I never was frustrated.
Did you take a shower for me?
Well, yeah, I took a couple of them for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now listen, let's get back to the point at hand, this, the writing of the seals. Okay, you've got to do that from in there, and it's going to take you X amount of time. But just tell me this, David. Are you saying that when you finish that manuscript...
Then I'm not bound any longer.
No, but see, that doesn't answer the question.
Then I'll be out, yes, definitely.
I know you'll be out, but that could... excuse me, I've got a cold. That could mean a lot of things, David. That could mean...
I'll be in custody, in the jailhouse. You can come down there and feed me bananas.
No, I know at some point in time that's true, but I'm getting from you, I'm asking you, that when that is finished, are you then telling me that you are coming out the next day or 2 hours after you send that out?
Well, I'll probably, when I bring it out, see, my attorney is going to get to the copy.
Right.
Okay? And as soon as he hands it over to the scholars, the theologians, right, that's when he's going to come back, and that's when I'm going to go out with him, because he said point blank that, one of the guarantees of me arriving down there is that he's going to go with me.
You can go on paper here and says that David Koresh told me that as soon as he finishes this manuscript, the 7 seals, of which you finished the first chapter dealing with the first seal,
right,
that you're going to make that available.
I'll be splitting out of this place. I'm so sick of MREs, Dick, that,
Well, I just want to make sure that I have this right, that you're coming out as soon as that's finished.
That's what it was said by the attorney. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's clarified. Lock, stock, and barrel it.
I mean, I've heard you say that you're coming out after, but that is not specific. That's a game that we all can play.
Look, I know, Dick.
But I'm asking you for your word. You say that you're coming out as soon as that's done, and you gave up the manuscript to DeGuerin, who's going to make copies available for Arnold and the other fella,
right,
the other biblical scholar, and then you are coming out with that manuscript.
And he's going to come, and the way the procession is to be, I'm to go out first with him, and then I think you're last, right, Steve? With his attorney.
Okay.
And the other people in between.
And then, you know what? I'm keeping you from getting back to work. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you go so that you can get back to work, because, David, frankly, I'm eagerly awaiting this manuscript.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to blow your socks off.
Well, I'm perfectly willing to read it, and I'm looking forward to it as
you either hate me or love me then.
Well, I want to read it, and then I'll make a decision then, and we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, let's get that thing written. The first chapter of David's manuscript that had been completed was carried out of the burning building on April the 19th by his secretary and stenographer, Ruth Riddle. It was on a computer disk. This disk was subsequently turned over to David's attorney, Dick DeGuerin, and according to David's instructions, DeGuerin passed it on to James Tabor and Philip Arnold. It's now published in the appendix to a recent book. Why Waco is the title. Cults and the Battle for Religious Freedom in America. The book contains a commentary by Drs. Arnold and Tabor on the manuscript. This next segment of the tape is indeed the last recorded words or conversation of David Koresh. It was recorded on April the 18th, Sunday, the day before the fire, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Koresh called the FBI negotiators. He's quite upset and angry because they've begun to remove cars and clear the area in the front of the building. First of all, he's upset that evidence might be destroyed that would relate to what had happened on February 28th in the initial BATF raid on Mount Carmel. Secondly, he's concerned about property damage in general, and it's clear from the tone of his voice that he suspects that something might be up, and that indeed the agreement that he feels he's reached with the FBI to write the manuscript and then exit peacefully could fall apart and not be carried out.
Is this John?
This Henry?
Oh, Henry, this is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Look, the generals out here, right? You have a hard time controlling them, right?
I don't control them, no.
Okay. Well, look, we have done everything we can to be able to communicate in a nice, passionate way. We've, told you what our work with God is. And you know, we've been kind. We've not been your everyday kind of cult. We've not been your everyday kind of terrorist, which I'm sure you're familiar with having to deal with. And a lot of things that the FBI or these generals are doing is just kind of way beyond the scope of reason. And they're not only destroying private property, they're also removing evidences. And this doesn't seem like that these are moves that should be made by a government who says to a people that we're going to be able to take this up in a court of law. I mean, they're not going to be able to replace a lot of things here. Like that 68 SS El Camino that belonged to Paul Fanta. They'll never be able to replace that. They don't have any more of those. And the 68 Camaro and other things out here in the front, they can't replace that. They just can't replace it. And they keep doing these kind of things. It's just proving to us that they're not showing good faith in their part. And I just suggest they shouldn't do it.
I understand what you're saying, and I will impart that.
In all courtesies, please impart that, because it's come to the point to where you know, God in heaven has somewhat to do also. And it's just really coming to the point of really what do you men really want?
I think what, you know, just in this sense, I'm just imparting to you what my perception is. And my perception is that what they want is they want you and everybody to come out. You know,
I don't think so. I think what they're showing is they don't want that.
Well, I think that that's exactly what they want.
No, they're not going to get that. They're not going to get that by what they're doing right now. They're going to get exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. They're going to get wrath on certain people. They're going to get anger from certain guys. Now, I can't control everybody here.
I think you can.
No, I can't. You can understand, John.
Henry,
I'm sorry. In 1985, I presented a truth. And everybody that's here, I had to debate, and I had to talk to, and I had to show from scriptures. I had to prove my point for many hours, days, months, and sometimes years with certain people here. They went to scholars, they went to theologians. I have a very unique group here.
Yes, you do.
Not ignorant people, not stupid people. Now, there's some people that in the beginning, they went out like Kevin and Brad, individuals that were, you know, people that were out there bar rollers and stuff like that, rough and tough guys. Now, they're not the theologians of the world, but they're guys that need a lot of patience, and, you know, with a little bit of refinement and a little bit of proof to them, they can be good people. But I would really, in all honesty and in good faith, tell these generals to back up. They don't need to tear up any more of this property. You tell us out of one side of the mouth we're going to be able to come back here and all this, and you know, we're going to be able to take this up in court. And on the other hand, you're showing us that there's not going to be nothing to come back to.
I think the problem on this thing, David, is that this thing has lasted way too long.
Oh, it has. It should have never gotten started this way, and that was not our fault.
Okay.
Now, you don't wish to speak of the issues of the beginning of this.
No, I don't. And you know, what the issues were, you know, at that time is something else. The problem is not what the issues were at that time. The problem is this has lasted way too long.
I'm going to finish my book. Or I'm not going to finish my book.
I hope that you do.
Well, let me tell you this. These men, who every day we try to show them good faith, they've walked out in front of us, they've driven their tanks up to us, they busted in the side of a building a little bit one time. You said that was a mistake. It was not in your control. It wasn't in the commander's wishes. You know, all of this has been showing us that these guys want to fight. Now, I don't want to fight. I'm alive too, and there's a lot of people in here that are alive. There's children in here.
That's right.
And we're also Americans, and I think that America has a patronage, a very clear patronage of individual citizens who have a breaking point.
Well,
now, if the government has gotten this strong, we can come on to something that we have worked for hard. We worked hard when we got on this property. A lot of hard hours. This place was a dump. We fixed it up. We built this little house here. It's not extravagant. You know, there's a lot of people here with a high commission and a lot of love and concern, not just for our own lives, but for everybody's life. And if this is the way our government is showing the world that its tactics are to get someone to do as they wish, when realistically our rights have been infringed upon right and left.
But there's a way to resolve that.
Yes.
The way to resolve that
yes.
is for you
Your
to come out and
your way is
lead
that
people
you're going to keep destroying our property.
This probably would not have had to happen.
It never did have to happen.
That's right. And then, you know, if you had come out on the day that you indicated, that you promised that you were going to come out, none of this would have taken place.
Look, you denounced the fact that I have a God that communicates with me. That's the first mistake that we make.
Nobody is saying anything about your religious beliefs, your thoughts, your ideas, or anything like that.
You are saying
the same things that you can do there, you could do out here.
That's what you say. I think that you are lying. As a matter of fact, I know that in the first month or so that I'm out, I'm going to be bombarded all the time with nothing but people wanting to know questions, asking this, asking that.
And if you were working on the 7 seals, I mean, nobody would bother you. I mean, why would that have to happen?
I have my responsibility also to you. Come on, look at the realities of things.
And the reality of things is that there are priorities, and your
everybody's
priority should be in the safety of the children, the safety of the women.
You are fixing to ruin that. These commanders are fixing to ruin the safety of my children, my life, the lives of my wives, the lives of my friends, my family. You're fixing to step across the ribbon.
I think that was something that you brought on. It has nothing to do
all right,
with the
if I brought on, if this is the corner of the box you placed me into.
I think that you're placing yourself in that.
No, you're the one moving forward. You're the one who has violated, your generals have violated our constitutional rights. You have made us guilty before proven so. You actively brought a band of people who didn't announce themselves. They came, I was out the front door. I was willing to talk to them. They shot at me first.
See, now you're talking about
something you don't want to prove as a matter of a fact. You're telling me now you tell me I'm under arrest. I have to come out and I have to
somebody is under arrest. That doesn't mean that you've already been proven guilty. It just means
no. I'm being punished. We've already been punished. We've been placed in jail. We're being punished as guilty.
Well, that is something that you chose for everybody in
That is not correct. That is something you chose as a confinement.
Because if you had walked out on that day as you promised, by now, who knows where we would have been. You know, you probably would be out on bail, for goodness sake.
John, all I can say is that if you want to place this in the history books as one of the saddest days in the world,
well, I think that the rules for your safety still apply. There's no reason, to think that they shouldn't apply.
I understand your rules. I'm just simply asking you in all good faith and all good manner for you to tell the generals it's enough to tear up our property.
I will tell them exactly what you said, but you need to understand that I'm talking up. It's not, talking down. So, what I suggest and what I will suggest is exactly what you said. I've suggested that, and I've suggested other things. I have no problem in, for
you tell them we love them, and,
And you're willing to send out 30 people?
Look,
50?
Whoever wants to go out.
No. Don't tell me that. Tell me that you're sending somebody out.
I'm not going to. You don't understand about these people yet.
And you don't understand about the people here yet either.
Okay, well, if this is the way we want to play, then we come to a point
I'm not wanting
to
play anything.
Look, you are playing.
No,
everyone in the tanks up there is playing.
No, nobody is. People just want to see some progress.
Look, some progress is being made. You don't realize what kind of progress is being made. There are people all over this world who are going to benefit from this book of the 7 Seals. You don't seem to understand.
And what you don't seem to understand is that the people here want to see that kind of progress, but other kind of progress. There's no reason why you couldn't be doing the same very thing that you're doing now within the place.
It's not true. What you're saying is not based on the truth.